everyone, welcome back to my channel. First off, I just want to say that I am so appreciative of all the love lately on my videos, especially my deleting social media video. I am so happy that I am helping so many people discover the joys and the peace of not being online, and I could only want to give that feeling to everybody else that I experienced. So today I have accumulated a bunch of questions from the original video. If you haven't watched that, I will link that in the description below. And I put all the questions into one area on my notes app on my laptop, and I will be answering all those questions today. I just cannot believe how many people explained their full stories to me. I love reading through the comments, and I'm very happy that people felt safe and comfortable enough to explain their story and what they're struggling with, and I'm very happy to be answering these questions today. The first thing that I want to make very clear is deleting my social media was hard. It wasn't easy. I think a lot of people think that it's like an easy thing to do. No, it was very difficult. And if you remember in my first video, I said that I had deactivated the first time in October 2023 for 4 months and then hopped back on. So this is something that I've been contemplating for like 2 years before I finally went and actually deactivated. And then it still took me 3 months before I decided to actually delete my account. So it was definitely a hard decision, but I want to state that I think we all have the ability to make choices. And I think if you replace the idea with knowing that deleting social media is a choice, then I think that changes everything. Like, that was a choice for me to make. Knowing that my family was on it, my friends were on it, my husband's on it, I knew that deleting it, I now technically kind of have this target on my back. I wasn't going to fit in. I was going to miss out. I was going to probably experience FOMO from time to time. I was going to miss out on trends and all these newest things. I was going to miss out on small milestones, and I had to make that choice to be okay with that. And it did take me some time, but once I got to the point where I was like, no, I'm making this choice for me because of all the amazing benefits that come out of not being online, and I'm okay with missing out on these things. And again, realizing that you're making that choice, I think that makes all the difference. So I just want to say that it was not easy to do, and sometimes I still struggle, and it was a hard decision. And I just think you guys need to give yourself more credit when you're like, I'm not sure, I'm feeling like this, I'm feeling like that. It's not easy, it is hard. So give yourself some more peace. Like, don't be so hard on yourself because it's not an easy decision. Okay, anyways, I have my questions here. There are 11 questions that I picked from the video that I feel like were really good questions to answer. A lot of people had similar questions. The first question I'm gonna answer is YouTube part of social media? This is a very, very big question, and I'm gonna answer it based off of what I think, and then you can make your own judgment from that. I personally don't think that YouTube is social media. I just don't. For me, social media is social. So you are connecting with people that you know for the most part. I don't know about you. I know a lot of people like to follow random people. I don't know why. But I know for me, when I was online, most of my followers and following, it was people that I knew. Then I followed like the odd musician or the odd celebrity that I enjoyed keeping up with. But it was people that I knew. That's the whole point of Instagram. That's the whole point of Facebook. You're not going on Facebook and adding people you don't know. You're adding people that you know. You're keeping up with them socially. Even with TikTok, and I know for my generation, TikTok wasn't a social platform, but I'm a teacher, and my students that are on TikTok, they post and they keep up with each other socially. So TikTok, same with Twitter, you're not really adding people that you don't know. You're following people you might not know, but you are socially interacting with people that you know. So YouTube, you're not doing that. At least I'm not. I don't know, maybe you are, but it's not like your everyday family and friends are all on YouTube making real videos. Like, it's a very different platform. So YouTube, I find for me, is not social. I go on there when I want to feel inspired, or I want to look at something that I'm learning about, or I'm watching some of my favorite content creators that make me feel comfortable and cozy and like all those things. And yes, Sometimes I get lost on YouTube, like I feel like everybody else does. I feel like I went through a really, really long time of being addicted to YouTube, and I'm actually coming out with a video on how I broke my YouTube addiction, and it's actually crazy when I found this small little thing that changed the way I use YouTube forever. Again, coming from somebody that really doesn't actually watch anything else really other than YouTube, but I do not think YouTube is a part of social media. Now, if you disagree and you feel like it is, then that is totally up to you. That is up to your judgment. And if you feel like you want to include that, if you are deleting your social media, you can totally do that. I just don't think that YouTube is a part of social media because you're missing the social aspect like you would have on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. I think it's like totally different. Okay, the second question is, can you deactivate your Facebook or other social media without losing old memories? So someone asked specifically for Facebook. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't had Facebook since like 2015, but I know that for Facebook and for all other social media platforms, also, I'm so sorry, but I'm losing my voice again. Teach your life. Anyways, you can deactivate, but you can't delete. So if you deactivate your account, then you won't lose anything. If you delete, I'm pretty sure Facebook, like Instagram, like they did for me, gives you a 30-day window if you forgot to download something, or if you want to go back in to get a picture that you didn't get or whatever, they give you a 30-day window. So it's not like if you delete it, it's gone forever. You get 30 days. But I would suggest, if you are a little bit worried about that and you're deactivating, maybe download or save some of the most important things you have on your social media accounts before you do that, just in case. Like, you never know. Again, like, I'm not super techie, but just in case. I know technology can be funny sometimes, so if you're really worried about that, I would just download everything. Even when I deleted my Snapchat, there's a way that you can email Snapchat and ask them to send you files of all your memories, and they sent it to me the next day, and I had 3 files, all of my Snapchat memories and all my Snapchat photos, and I just put them on a USB stick, and like, I felt fine deleting the account and there was nothing left. So I would just make sure, but I know for deactivation, no. For deletion, yes, we have a 30-day process window. Number 3, someone said, I do not know what to do at night without my phone or tablet. Anyone else with the same problem? What do you recommend? What do you do after dinner? So again, I can only speak for myself. So for me, I really try. And again, I am not perfect. Like, there are nights where this just doesn't happen. Either it's because I'm finishing up work, or I am editing a video, or simply, guys, I have caved into temptation and I am watching YouTube. It just happens sometimes, but very rarely. Still trying to minimize it, and I'm still trying to find ways to fix it. However, for me, I work very well with schedules and routines, and I know that if I tell myself, okay, between 7 and 8 p.m., things should be starting to be put away. So my phone should be charged. I should have already talked to my mom so I don't have to go on the phone anymore. My laptop is charged. Everything is put away in another room. And I have found the next step that I do that helps me a lot is I actually shut down my laptop. So for me, my phone isn't really the biggest problem because I've really curated it to be not a problem. Hi guys. Sorry, I'm just editing. I don't know why I didn't say this when I was doing it the first time, but you basically want to curate your devices so that they do become unproblematic. So whether you have social media or not, if you do have it, you can set screen limits on these apps. I know that Apple has that effect now and it works wonders. You know, have passwords, give it to your significant other or someone that you trust so that you don't ignore the screen limit and go back on. Or if you really want to go really hard, you could just delete the apps at night and then re-download them the next day so that you're not tempted to go on. Or if you delete the apps off your phone so you can only scroll on your laptop and you shut down your laptop, there are tons of ways to just try and get in the routine of not going on your devices after a certain time. You just got to find what works for you. I don't know why I didn't say this in the video. There were just so many thoughts. Okay, bye. My iPad definitely isn't a problem because I literally only use it strictly for work and for school purposes. My laptop is the problem, or at least it used to be more the problem before I figured out my YouTube hack, which again, I will show in another video. I actually shut down my laptop so that the temptation of just opening it and like typing in something or like going on Reddit or going on YouTube or whatever, it's a lot harder to do because the computer is shut down. So then I gotta wait for it to turn on. I have to wait for everything to load. Like, I am not gonna wanna wait for that. So knowing that it's shut down, I'm like, oh, okay, like I actually can't get onto it and I will reach for something else. Whether it's a book or it's my Bible or it's even my Nintendo Switch, like I'm okay with doing my Nintendo Switch. I don't even care. Anything that is not me scrolling on my laptop. That is what I find works for me. I think you just have to kind of make it a strict routine, like you going to the gym, right? You make a strict routine that you're going to the gym 3 times a week, let's say Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's a routine that you're sticking with. That's the same with this. You're sticking in a routine that, let's say Monday to Friday, your electronics are put away in a different room. They're going to sleep for the night at 7 p.m. Like that's kind of something that you have to do. And the other thing is that you need to replace your habit of going on your tablet, going on your laptop, going on your phone, scrolling on Instagram, whatever, with a different habit. People always think, oh, you just don't do it. No. You need to replace the habit with another habit. So I have found that if I ever get the urge, I mean, I'm running out of options here, but if I ever get the urge to watch nonsense on YouTube, I'm trying to replace that habit now with either picking up the book that I'm currently reading or picking up my journal. And I find that helps a lot. You need to replace it with a different habit. So find whatever habit works for you. Even if that means instead of scrolling on the internet, you pick up your Nintendo Switch to play Super Mario or Animal Crossing. I personally think that that's better than being on the internet. Okay, number 4, someone said, what was the process of deleting Instagram like? Did you have to back up your data? Okay, so this is kind of like in conjunction with number 2. I did have to back up everything. I mean, you don't have to. I lost all my chats, but I did back up all my stories. You have to do it manually. So I literally went through my stories and screenshot the ones that I wanted to keep, because sometimes I would post a story and then I would delete the photo off my phone because I was like, oh, it's on my Instagram. So that's what I did. There wasn't that much. There might be a way. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't look too much into it, but I would reach out to Instagram and say, oh, I'm planning on deleting, like, is there any way that you can send me all my data, and then see what they say. Instagram could have changed in the last year or so, I'm not sure, but I'm sure that there's a way that you could probably back up everything all at once without having to manually go in and do it. Number 5, someone said, how did you deal with feeling left out during the first couple of weeks? It was hard. While during your detox. I just deactivated my socials about 5 days ago, and I'm currently struggling dealing with family members who don't really agree with my decision on leaving socials because they can't send me any funny videos or updates on the family. I'd really appreciate the advice. I'm trying to do a month detox. Okay, well, thank you for explaining that. My friend, I went through the same thing. I went through the same thing. Yes, once I initially deleted, it felt incredible, and it still feels incredible. However, everybody in my life was still on it, and a lot of people did not understand why I was off. And it felt like instead of explaining the amazing pros about it, I was just spending so much time explaining and backing up why I wasn't on it anymore. I'm totally explaining myself all the time, and it was so exhausting that I just got to a point where I was like, listen, if you want to send me something, just text it to me. So my family now does, they find a funny Instagram reel, like they literally just copy and paste it, and then they send it in the family group chat, and we've been doing that for the last year or so, and there's been no problems. It wasn't necessarily from my immediate family, it was more from like friends and like outside sources that like just didn't understand, and it was frustrating at the beginning. But again, like I said at the beginning of this video, I knew that I made a choice, and my choice benefited me greatly, and if somebody didn't understand that, that's on them. I can only control how I think, I can only control how I feel, and I cannot control what somebody else thinks or how they feel about something. So if they felt a certain kind of way about something, I was kind of like, okay, like that sounds like a you problem. Maybe I'm harsh, I don't know, but that's how I felt about it. I really think that you should go ahead and do the month detox and just let it be. Don't worry about what other people are saying. Honestly, here's a secret. I have found that most people who give you a hard time about it are jealous because they don't have the willpower to do it themselves. That's what I found. So don't worry about what anybody else is saying. If they have a big problem, like really guys, if we've gotten to a point where that is the only way that we communicate with each other is by sending each other funny videos, we need to reevaluate our relationships, which I'm not saying you do. Like I had to do that too. And I did lose a lot of friends over it because that was our main source of communication. And then after that, things totally changed. So I would just reevaluate, but I would just sit down with your family and be like, listen, this is something that I'm doing for me, whether you understand it or not. And I would really appreciate if there is something you want to show me, I'm still down to see it, but if you could text it to me. And if they find that to be so much of a struggle, even though it's one extra button, then like the content is not worth seeing anyway. And it only further reiterates that the decision you made is worth it. Number 6, someone said, I want to delete social media. However, I also like sharing and supporting causes. How do you deal with the balance of that? Thank you. I honestly find that everything has email. Like when I left social media, if there were certain blogs or people, like for example, like I think I talked about this in the first video, like Miley Cyrus, like I love her, right? I am subscribed to her email fan base. So if there is anything that is like super important, like if she's going on tour or a new album or a new single is releasing, I will get an email, but I get to skip out on all the other stuff that she posts on Instagram that really is not relevant to me, but I get the important stuff. And I find that that's the same with everything else. Causes, things that you support, maybe this person's talking about charity, like whatever it is, everything has an email now. And I find that the emails for these things are way less than what they might be posting on socials. So see if there's an email, see if there's somebody that you can reach out to and be like, hey, like I don't have socials. Is there any way that I can still keep up with this kind of stuff? If you were talking about causes and charities and all that kind of stuff, maybe if you feel like this is too hard, again, it's not something that I would do, but if you feel like this is the best decision for you, you could possibly make an Instagram account where you don't follow anybody except these charities, and then you have people follow you, like your close family and friends, and that's how you raise awareness. You could definitely do that too. There are different ways. At the end of the day, you do have to find what works for you, but that's what I think. I just think everything has an email now. There's other ways outside of social medias. You don't need to be on there, and if you are on there, really curate who you're following so that when you do go on there, you're not lost on the app and you don't get caught up in all these things that aren't important. Number 7, someone said, please do a tips on how you went through this process. I absolutely love this video. Thank you so much. I'm assuming this person meant like how I went through the process of deleting everything. So if I were you, like I did, I would start by deactivating. I would not delete cold turkey. That's very scary. Like I said, this is a big decision to make because it's just such a big part of our life. I would start with deactivation. That's what I would do. Start with deactivation, see how you feel. And this might be a work in process. Like for me, it took me almost 2 years before I finally deleted. Like it takes a long time, and I don't want you to rush something like this and then regret it after. And then you have to start over and all this, like, ugh, no, like just deactivate, take some time off. I'd say the best thing is like deactivate for a month, kind of make it like a challenge, see how you feel when the month is done. And you know what? Like a lot of people also aren't affected by social media. Like they're okay staying on. So if you get to the whole month and you're like, oh, like this totally rewired the way that I think of social media, like I can get on and I will have totally different limits now and I'll know how to use it, then go back on, my friend. Like you do what works for you. But you might do the month and be like, oh God, like this has like totally changed my life. Like I never want to go back on again. I would still deactivate a little bit longer and then go from there to a point where you're like, oh, I could definitely delete my accounts and I would never look back. That's where I had to be before I was like, I'm totally deleting everything. But I'm assuming that's what this person is talking about. In terms of actually deleting the accounts, if people are confused on how to actually delete the accounts, it was really easy. I literally just went on Google. Some of them can be more confusing than others. So make sure there are like guidelines and tutorials on YouTube and stuff that show you exactly how to delete. And I would do that to make sure that you're doing it properly. So you don't make like any mistakes if you're not ready to delete yet. Because some people get deletion and deactivation confused and then things go haywire. So I would just follow the tutorial to make sure. Number 8, how do you feel like you're not missing out? I deleted pretty much all of mine, but still feel like I'm missing out sometimes. This is a great question. You will feel like you're missing out sometimes. However, it does diminish over time. So I found at the beginning, as amazing as everything felt, yes, like there were times where I did feel like I was missing out, especially if I was like going out with friends or whatever the case was, and they were taking pictures and posting and they were telling me about things and people online or whatever. There would always be that small part of me where I'd be like, oh, like, I don't know what's going on, oh this, oh that, whatever. Eventually over time, I got to a point where I was like, do I really care? Like, do I really care that Madison from grade 7 is engaged? Like, I don't. I actually don't care. And I think we've grown to be accustomed to caring. Like, we need to know what's going on with everybody all the time, or else we're like not in and we don't know what's, like, who cares? Like, literally, who cares? So this is like a little bit of tough love, and I'm telling you this because I went through this. If your life is filled with abundance of things that matter to you and that you are busy enough and that you are indulged enough in your own life, eventually over time, you're going to stop caring about what's happening out there because you're going to be so invested in your own life that it won't even matter. And this took me time too. This is still something I'm working on, and this is still something I'm telling myself. It is always a work in progress, but it is a lot better than what it was 10 months ago, even like a year ago when I was like balancing if I was on or off. The feelings will arise, but I think you just need to like notice them, acknowledge them, accept them, and then move on and just realize like it's just a part of it, because you made the choice to remove yourself from the biggest thing that our entire world is obsessed with and probably will be for a long time. You chose to remove yourself from that. So these things are going to happen, and that's fine. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with feeling like that. Everybody is on these apps. You're gonna feel like that. And I would recommend, start filling that time that you use scrolling or going on the apps or all this stuff with things that actually fill your life with abundance, because it makes such a big difference. Also, to add on to that, I also found, and I'm hoping that your family and friends will do this too, but I also found that my true friends, because my family for sure, my true friends, if they wanted me to keep up with their life, they just started texting me. They just started calling me. And it felt so much more personal. And I remember when it first started happening, I was like, wow, like I love this, because sometimes I would see something on Instagram at the same time as everybody else. And I didn't like that, because I was like this person is supposed to be my best friend, or this person is like a cousin or a relative or whatever. And I'm finding out the same time as the rest of their 1,200 followers. And there were friendships that I lost because of that, which I will make another video if somebody's curious about. I actually lost 2 best friends in the last year and a half because of this. And it was very hard, but I feel very at peace with it now. And some people rose to the occasion, if you want to say, and we're like, okay, like, Susie decided to be off social media, no problem. Like, I will make sure that I text and I call her. And they were totally good with that. And I really appreciated that. And that made me feel like I was missing out less. And honestly, the less you see, the less you know. And it's like ignorance is bliss. Like, I was just happy that I wasn't seeing it. And I actually felt more FOMO when I was on the apps. Way more FOMO when I was on the apps than when I was off, because what you don't see doesn't hurt you, right? So when you're removed from that situation, you're not seeing all the things that are happening and all the things that you're missing out on. You are kind of living in your own bubble. And I love living in my own bubble. Okay, number 9, I believe. Someone said, and this is a great one. Someone said, I'm currently off social media and I've been loving how peaceful it is. I do have a question for you. With your spouse being on social media, do you ever feel the need to be on there and keep up with his posts, or no? My main reason asking is because I'm thinking about myself and how I love being off of social media currently. I wonder if whether or not I'd continue to stay off after we get married. I personally find peace without being on there. I've told myself I can always make a smaller personal account just to follow the few people I'm close to as well. But currently I just love not being on there at all, lol. I agree that this has helped lower my anxiety so much. For me, it was also the feeling of just being fried by the overwhelming amount of content and the news, and also comparing myself. My friend, this is something that I resonate with so much. When I read this, I was like, wow, are you me from like a year ago? So I'm gonna start with the first part. When this person says, I do have a question for you. With your spouse being on social media, do you ever feel the need to be on there and keep up with his posts? Okay, I'm very lucky. My husband literally uses Instagram to have group chats with the boys. That is basically it. Like, he is on there and they are sending each other stupid sports memes. That is the extent of his Instagram usage. And I honestly think he spends more time looking at the car ads than people's stories. Like, every time I see him on Instagram, he's looking at an ad for a sports car. And I'm like, why are you even on there? You just look at the ads for the sports cars. And he goes, yeah, that's all I look at. He doesn't post. Since we've dated, his posts have literally just been me and him. Again, I'm very lucky, thank God. I actually don't think I could be with somebody who posted on Instagram like selfies and with friends and all that. Had a lot of support. My husband was extremely supportive. I don't think he'll ever do it, but he was extremely supportive with me. And again, for the reasons that he uses it, like, there's really no reason for him to get off. Like, I didn't use it for that purpose. But besides your significant other, if it feels good for you to not be on it, then don't be on it. Don't go back on it just because your SO decides that they want to stay on, because it might work for them and it might not work for you. you, right? So I wouldn't do it just because your SO is still on it. Like, just leave it alone. If it feels good and it resonates with you, then I would just leave it. I think you're making the right choice not being on there. If it brings you so much peace and your anxiety has diminished so much, I think you're making the right choice. I honestly think that everybody handles it differently. I think that you could feel so anxious being on something or doing something, and your partner could totally feel the opposite. And I think that that's fine. After you get married, that's something you got to feel and see, because that was what really did it for me, where I was like, okay, I'm married. I want to live a private life now, and I don't want to continue posting updates about when I get pregnant and when I have kids, and when, like, I just don't want to do that. And I knew that that was the next step. And like I said in my part 1 was, yes, I know a lot of people are like, you could be on it and not post anything. But for me, I was like, but if I have it, I feel like I have to. And I knew, guys, I knew that God willing, when the day blessed us, that I would be pregnant. I knew that if I had Instagram, eventually I would feel like I would have to post on Instagram that I was pregnant. And I was like, I do not want my kids on the internet. No way do I want to take a picture of my baby and put it on Instagram. There's no shot. So it was better for me to remove myself from the situation. Okay, I'm back. I don't know why I forgot to answer all these things, but I also forgot to say that I did also make a smaller account. So after I deactivated the first time and then I came back on, I deactivated my old account and I made a new account, and I just kept close family and friends. No, guys, it doesn't work. I was back in the same trap. I just thought, oh, if I did, no. Everything was still the same. If anything, I felt worse because I felt silly deleting and then making a new account. Like, it wasn't worth it. I feel like it's either you're all in or you're all out, at least for me. So I just want to put that in there because this person said that they did the same thing. So I resonate with what you're saying. I went through the same thing and it just didn't work out. I just felt it was very unnecessary. So I just want to throw that in there. So, but I do resonate with what you're saying, and it is difficult. Like I said, when everybody in your life is on it, but again, you need to be confident in the choice that you made, that it is benefiting you and that it is doing wonders for you, and you need to be okay with that. And I think that makes all the difference. The last question that I am answering today, someone said, how has your mental health been since quitting? My mental health has been incredible. I know I made a joke in my last video saying you could quit therapy. I was joking, okay? I've been in therapy for 4+ years going into 5. I'm totally joking. Obviously, I would never quit therapy, even though I feel amazing. I think therapy is incredible for everyone. And I'm not even joking, guys, when I tell you the amount of doors that opened for me when I left social media is insane. Again, you have all this time and all these things that you thought of doing, but you just never had the time because you were constantly scrolling and doom scrolling and comparing and looking at the wrong things. All of a sudden you have all this time and you're like, wow, like I can actually do this. I can actually do that. So I'll give you an example. Starting this YouTube channel, I kind of started it at the end of last year when I was in deactivation mode again before January 1st. Just the fact, even if I had 0 views, even if I had 1 subscriber, like I don't even care. That's not even why I'm on here. It was the fact that I could prove to myself, look at what you can do. Look at what you can create when you are not tied up with this BS. Look at all the things that you can do. I've wanted to do YouTube videos forever. I've wanted to help people forever, or just create montages and be creative forever. And I just never did because, oh, I'm not good at it. No, it's because I was constantly tearing myself down. It's because I never had any time because I was spending it on other stuff. And that alone was amazing. And now all of a sudden I have this tiny community of 500 subscribers, which I never thought ever, which to somebody else might seem really silly, but to me it means the world because I'm helping people. And it's just an amazing feeling doing something that you always thought you wanted to do but you could never do because you didn't have the time. What can I do to better myself with all this time? And these are just some of the things, some examples, and you will see how much your life changes mentally when you just remove yourself and you worry about your own life and you mind your own business. Okay, last time I just want to mention that I had literally crippling anxiety when I was on Instagram. Instagram was absolutely the worst for me. It gave me so much anxiety between the reels and the stories and seeing what everybody was doing, and it was just awful. I don't know why I didn't mention that. I think I was just so excited to answer these questions that I forgot so many things, but my anxiety was horrendous. It was so bad, and it cleared up a lot when I left these apps, especially Instagram, and just like not being able to be contacted all the time, even Snapchat. It just felt amazing. I felt like I could breathe again. It is just phenomenal, and I will be making more videos about these feelings in the future, but it's just been so amazing. It's been such a wonderful journey, and I am so happy to be helping people. I will be responding to all comments. If you have any other questions, please let me know. I know that I might come across as straightforward and direct, and I'm sorry, I can be a little bit harsh like that, but I feel like I have so much emotion to share when it comes to this, and I just want people to understand that your life is amazing. God blessed you with this incredible, amazing life that happens so quickly, and we are so concerned about what everybody else is doing that your life is gonna pass you by and you're gonna have so many regrets after. And I just want you guys to know, love the life that God gave you, through the pros, through the cons, through the challenges, through the heartache, through the happy times, the sad times. Things happen the way that they're supposed to, and I'm so thankful for this life that God gave me. This little tiny small life that I have with my husband and with my small immediate family and this little tiny home that I live in, and it's so blessed, and so is yours. And just the fact that people are commenting and asking these questions, and just the fact that you're watching and looking up people that have gone through this, like, that is already step one to becoming the best version of yourself, and I'm very proud of you. And it is very hard. Like I said, it was hard, and I was in your shoes a year ago. I was looking up videos, deleting social media, and I was watching other people, and other people inspired me to do this, and now I'm on here inspiring you. It is a full revolving circle, and I'm very happy to be here helping you, and it all comes from a place of love. So if you guys need any help, any questions, whatever, I am here. I am hoping to help inspire you, to help you become the best version of yourself in this area of your life. And I just want to thank you so much for being here. If you have any other questions, please comment them down below. I will make a part 3, whatever you guys want, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the next video. Bye for now.